JDM Jack Della Maddalena puts on a stunning performance, walking through Belal Muhammad to become the new welterweight champion, and Valentina Shevchenko gets the job done against Manon Fiorot to attain a flyweight strap. This is the UFC 315 recap coming up next on Fighting with Friends. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends and still the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. This is the UFC 315 recap, and with me today, ladies and gentlemen, is the reigning defending undisputed vegan champion of the world, is, of course, Brother Gaia.
What's
Come on, Brother
up?
Gaia.
Let's go.
Let
JDM.
go, Brother Gaia. Welcome back. So UFC 315 finished literally just a few minutes ago, and
Yeah.
as always, BG, we start
At the top of the card.
at the top of the card. We saw our guy JDM doing it for the Tim Tams. Getting the job done here. Stunning performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, just a few minutes ago, we saw him become the new champion here.
Mhm.
Yeah, great performance. We were very impressed by his movement overall. Takedown defense was impeccable. I wouldn't say impeccable, but yeah, enough to get the job done on the night. PG, what can you tell us
Yeah.
here, bro?
No, I would go as far as to say quite impeccable because I mean if you think about who he fought against, I mean Belal takes everybody down that he fights, right? That's what he's good at. That's his best weapons. And JDM did a fantastic job in nullifying that. Let's get real here. He he basically took the fight to Belal and he was able to negate a lot of the wrestling that Belal was trying to do at him. And you can see on screen there Belal shot 9 times, only landing 3 of that takedowns. And when he landed those takedowns, I think JDM wasn't too long on his back, maybe 30 seconds at most, and he gets up again and then he's standing and going back to work with his jabs and switching stances and fighting out at different positions. And I think you used the word quite a lot in the live stream. You said that Bilal looked looked a bit confused, and I think that's very accurate if you think about the fight. Because JDM was switching stances so much, and he was throwing strikes whether he was going forward or he was going backwards. Especially when he was going backwards, when Bilal was letting his hands go. JDM did a fantastic job at actually countering and head movement and staying out of the way. I mean, look, he was getting caught regardless, and Bilal did land a lot of strikes because JDM's had a blue mark on his face, his nose a little busted up as well, and but I think that came towards the round 4, round 5 when JDM was when Bilal was actually landing a little bit cleaner. But I think the body of the fight largely went in Jack's favor. I mean, he was the better striker. He was in flow state. There was moments where he was actually schooling on Bilal, and I just while you were in the toilet a moment ago before we started the recording, I was listening to John Anik talk about it. The post fight is currently on right now. So I was listening to John Anik talk about JDM, and he was saying so out fight week, he felt that JDM was going to win the fight just because the way JDM was speaking to Bilal and about Bilal. He was saying there was moments when they were in the face of JDM was usually quiet the whole time, but when they were in the face of JDM would just murmur under his breath to Bilal saying, "I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna fuck you up." And then that's what Janik just disclosed that information now, and I can believe it, bro. I mean, JDM looked like he was like nothing was gonna beat him on the night. I don't think he was gonna get beaten on the night. Bilal's nickname is the bully, and I don't think he could bully JDM at all. And the moment we realized that he couldn't take JDM down was when we realized that JDM was gonna win this fight. And both of us had said JDM. Both of us had said Bilal was gonna win. We wanted JDM to win, but we all thought that Bilal was gonna win him. But bruh, we have to give props to what JDM does, dude. He looks like a complete fighter to me. He's got fantastic boxing. He's got good wrestling, good takedown. He can reverse. He scrambles. He doesn't accept positions. He's dangerous, dude, and I think he's well deserved to be to be the champion on the night.
Yeah, no, I definitely agreed. Fantastic performance. But do you think that there's anything to be said about Bilal on the night? Do you think he might have had a bit of an off night? I mean, in terms of his game plan, he said he was going to go out there and strike, and he tried to do that, which was obviously
Mm,
not the way to go. I mean, we could see it
mm,
from here that he was never going to get that right. So, I mean, I'm just trying to get an idea of what the thinking was there. You know what I mean? Because, I
yeah.
mean, he said the same thing against Leon. He did the job against Leon. So I think maybe just a bit of overconfidence possibly there
Yes.
going in. What do you think?
Yes. I think you're spot
Yeah.
on there, Eddie. I think it is overconfident. You can see by the way he walked out, the way he was like smirking at the camera and like blinking when they were saying his name and stuff, and the way he was speaking as well was that
Yeah.
he was gonna walk through JDM. But I just think he didn't believe what he was saying. Because there's one thing if you think about what Bilal said throughout fight week, people don't talk about this enough. But what Bilal did say in fight week was he doesn't think that JDM will crack the way Leon does. But he does think he can beat him. He does think he can walk through him. When he said that in middle week that he doesn't think that JDM can crack the way Leon does, I thought, why are you saying that? That's basically you're basically saying that you don't think that you can walk through him, but then you go and say that you're gonna walk through him. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think Bilal was way overconfident. And he completely disregarded JDM's skill set, to be honest with you, and he got surprised. I mean, JDM threw 364 strikes, landing 200 of that 300.
Sure.
That's really good. Look, Bilal also threw quite a good number. Bilal threw 349 strikes and then 155 out. So it's also really good volume, good numbers as well. But I think JDM was a lot cleaner, and he just looked more polished. And the way that he set up his strikes was just beautiful to watch, dude. I think Bilal didn't do anything wrong. I just think he fought someone that was a lot better than what Bilal thought.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, of course, that does now set up, like you said, we had Islam Makachev come out with his tweet just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Time to become double champ, inshallah. So, is this, do you think, going to be the immediate match for JDM, or do you think they'll give him another contender first?
I think it'll be the immediate match for JDM, especially because it's Islam. UFC promised Islam this situation. That's why we didn't get announcements for the lightweight division earlier in the year. So
Mm.
this was in the works. And JDM welcomed the fight. He did say before the fight against Bilal, he's like, I'm gonna beat Bilal and I'm happy to welcome Islam to the welterweight division. So JDM also wants that fight. So I do think
Yeah,
that the UFC is gonna make it happen. I think what's more interesting about what Islam is saying here, he's saying time to become double champ.
yeah.
And if you scroll down on Islam's post, isn't he made another post saying that he's not vacating the. If you click on Islam's name, he said, "There we go. He's not vacating the title." So he's looking to defend both titles. So what that simply means is we're gonna have JDM versus Islam, and we're gonna have Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria.
There we go. So finally, we have some clarity on the whole situation there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just again, shout out to JDM. Absolutely fantastic performance. And I mean, early predictions there for Islam versus JDM. I mean, I guess it's difficult to say when you see such a great performance from JDM, but we know Islam
Mm.
is a different level. So, do you give the man a chance here in this fight, or do you think Islam's going to steamroll him?
I've got the feeling that Islam's gonna beat him. I want to see JDM beat him. I want to see JDM go all the way. I think he's a fantastic fighter. Um, and he did really well. But Bilal's wrestling and Islam's wrestling is not the same level. Let's get
Mm.
real here, you know. And I do think that between the two fighters, between Islam and Bilal, Islam is a lot more of a killer. Like he will put you away, bruh, and he's happy to
Yeah,
do it. You know. So I
and
do think
Islam's
that
also not gonna strike. You know what I mean? He's not gonna
yes.
strike for the full 5 rounds. So
No, no, you won't.
yeah,
You will wrestle, and when he wrestles, it's like people panic defend, you know.
yeah,
And the one thing about JDM is he does look a lot more comfortable in defending takedowns, and like he's actually very good at it. You know, he's really good at it. But I mean, how many times are we gonna keep saying fighters that fight against Islam, as long as you keep it standing, you give a good chance. But
mm,
it's never happened. You know what I mean? Dustin Poirier was one of the best boxers in lightweight division, stood with Islam for 4 rounds and couldn't actually hurt him. So yeah, man. I don't know. I want to see JDM beat him, but at the moment I just don't see him. I don't see him doing it.
yeah, yeah. And fair play to your comment about JDM's takedown defense. I really liked the kind of tactic he was employing whenever
Yes.
Belal went in on a single, that he was dropping
Yeah.
down to one knee like that to kind of nullify and move his
Mm.
hand position. So I thought that was, I mean, flawless again on the night.
Yeah.
Just great game plan, great movement, striking was fantastic. I think the only thing that was missing there was a finish, but fair play to Belal, tough as nails there, because there were a couple of punches that could have put him out. I mean, that
Yeah.
knee was nasty, bro.
He stood
But
it.
PG, yeah, yeah, no, he definitely took a couple of punches there. Do you have any final thoughts here on this one?
Pardon me. Not really. Just very happy for JDM. Really, very happy for him. And then for Bilal, as much as like we tease the guy and we go at him for being a bit of a boring athlete and sometimes a bit of an annoying person on the microphone, you should hold his head up high because he did go in there with a deadly, really tough opponent, and he didn't get dropped. He got dropped at the end, but I think that was more exhaustion than he was actually getting hurt. And
Mm,
a performance like that, he should hold his head up high, bro. And he should just remember he's still number one. He's not like he's going down now to number 5 or number 6. He's still up there, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna see the last of Bilal. I think we're gonna see more of him because he is still a top fighter.
Fair play, fair play. Who do you think he fights next? Just before we move on, let's bring up the
Bilal.
rankings there. Yeah,
Let's see the rankings.
we got Brady Bags, of course, and Machado Gary would probably be the two.
You probably get Machado Gary, even though I think Brady is deserving of the shot. I think I'll probably give Machado Gary.
He did, of course, beat Sean Brady already. So, yeah,
That's why
it's
I'm
looking
saying it,
likely
you
for
know.
Machado Gary. Yeah, yeah, agreed there. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any thoughts, drop us a comment there. And, yeah, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep it moving to the women's flyweight division now, where we saw the queen, pound for pound queen here, Valentina Shevchenko, defend the flyweight title against Manon Fiorot. Yeah, she looked good. She looked very composed coming
Mm,
in the early rounds. We were kind of puzzled by what Manon Fiorot, the tactics she was employing with these kind of knees in the clinch, trying to steal rounds in that way, but not
mm,
really threatening or doing any damage, right?
yeah.
So yeah, give us your thoughts here, BG.
Yeah, look, I will say this. Good try. Good try from Manon. I'll give her that much. But Valentina didn't look like she was at any point in the fight that she had anything to worry about. You know, she was very counter heavy, so she was landing a lot more. She even dropped Manon in the third round. Was it the third round or the fourth round? But she even dropped her in one of those two rounds. Um, Busted her up early. And from that moment, you could kind of see that Manon was really trying her best to get it back, but just wasn't landing. I mean, she was shooting takedowns, didn't really get the best of her. Shevchenko, she was shooting a lot of takedowns as well, landed a couple of it. But Shevchenko was just a cleaner fight on the end of the day. There wasn't a lot that was happening if you think about it. Some of the rounds there was a lot of like feinting and setting things up, but not a lot of engagement. And in those
Mm.
kind of fights, in those kind of rounds is where we saw Shevchenko steal some of them by throwing spinning back fists. Like towards the last minute, she maybe land something big to kind of steal the round. I think there was one round where Manon landed a takedown, and I think that was the only round that she kind of won. But all in all, I think 4 rounds to 1 went to Shevchenko, and again, there wasn't a lot that we could take away from it, because they were a similar style. Manon was really trying to do what she can do in terms of standing up and using a height advantage, but it wasn't really working. I think Shevchenko was just too clean and too experienced, actually. She knew what to
Mm.
do and how to do it, and I think that's what got to the fight. So, yeah, and still,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's a good point. Vastly experienced. She looked very calm, yeah. There
yes,
were times in the fight where she was just standing still and waiting for Manon to move
yes,
before she counted. So yeah, just
exactly.
a great performance by the champ. And yeah, like you said on stream a little bit earlier, this sets it up nicely for the Wei Lee fight.
Absolutely.
For it to really stamp a kind of
A goat
a
status.
dominance, yeah, on women's MMA.
Yeah.
So do you think that's the next fight? I think you did say that's probably the next fight and possibly a
Mm.
last bout.
Yeah.
You still standing by that?
I still stand by it. I don't know if Shevchenko. I know she wants to keep fighting. She keeps saying she wants to go as long as she can.
Mm.
But I think that her coaches and herself is probably going to tell her, "Look here, you're 38 years old. You're going to be 39 next year. Rather take on Whaley, get the double weight status, which you don't have. She tried twice against Amanda Nunes, who I think is the only women's athlete to actually surpass Shevchenko, if we're being realistic.
Mm.
Women's combat sports athlete. So I think while the chance is there and Valentina is still in a good state to fight Whaley at the stage, double weight status. Whaley won't deny the fight either because she also would want to go for double weight status as herself. And then I think win or lose that fight, she can call it quits there and then move into the next stage of her career, which she already does, by the way, which is coaching. Um,
Mm.
and I think that if Shevchenko wins that fight, yeah, she goes down as I would say second best women's athlete of all time, combat sports athlete of all time.
Yeah, fair. I mean, again, just a great performance from Valentina on the night. Really using all of her experience and a vast
Mm.
skill set here to get it done. But just again, I just don't know what Firo was. Did she think she was going to win the fight with those knees? You know
Those
what I mean?
clinch
And
knees.
those punches to the thigh. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we
I
know
don't
we had
know.
Sal Mato as a judge, but you got to give us a little bit more than that too. Especially in a championship fight, man. You got
Yeah,
to beat the
you
champ.
have
You know
to.
what I mean?
I think she tried 80, but I just don't think she could get past Shevchenko. Manon was trying stuff. She threw a couple of high kicks that Shevchenko blocked, and she was attempting some things to make the fight go in her favor. But I just think that she came up against someone that was just better, just
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Yeah,
levels
that's
to
what
the
it looked
game,
like on the
as
night.
they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we do have Eden Blanchfield and Macy Barber fighting in a fight night in 2 weeks, I think.
Yes.
Natalia Silva got the job done today. So is it Natalia Silva versus Manon Fiorot next?
Yeah. Yeah. Has to
Yeah.
be, right? If Grasso is number one and she was the former champion and Natalia Silva did that to her, you can't deny her the fight for against Manon Fiorot. And Manon Fiorot beat Eden Blanchfield already. Macy Barber, I'm surprised her name is there, but she's there. So I don't know. I don't know. It'll be an insult to Natalia Silva if they let her fight the winner between Blanchfield and Barber. I would be really upset if they gave her that.
Yeah,
She has to get Fiorot next. There's no other
yeah.
way around it. You know, and then Grasso can fight the winner. Can fight either the winner or the loser between Blanchfield and Macy Barber.
I think that sorts it out quite nicely there, BG. So yeah, do you have any final thoughts on Ms. Shevchenko before we move?
Just yeah, and still, dude, this is what we said
And
was gonna
still,
happen.
yeah, yeah. But okay, then we'll keep it moving to the featherweight division. We saw Aiemann Zahabi defeat Jose Aldo. I think this was a unanimous decision. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, Strange one, to be honest. Jose, I think, winning the fight until he shot for a takedown. It was
Yeah.
like, why did you do that? And then Zahabi got top position, landed some heavy elbows, which was in the judge's eyes enough to get him the W.
Mm.
But yeah, I thought Jose did look relatively good in the opening
Mm.
exchanges. He was the faster fighter. Zahabi looked a bit gun shy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did kind of push the pressure, which might have been the game plan. We
Mm.
did have like an all-star corner with Faraz Zahabi, GSP, and
Fact.
Abasolo.
Yeah,
Heavy Abasolo.
Solo.
But yeah, BG, tell us what you saw here, bro.
Yeah, Jose, man. I'm happy that he retired. Firstly, if you look at his last few outings in the UFC, we kind of see a pattern, and that pattern. Actually, you can go back to when he was even the champion. You can see a pattern in Jose Aldo, and that pattern is round 4, round 5, pretty much the later rounds. If it's a round 3 or if it's a 3 round or a 5 round fight, you can expect Jose Aldo to kind of just be depleted off towards that last round. Round 4 and 5 in championship fights, Jose doesn't do anything. Round 3, he kind of just like rides the wave, and I think that's what we kind of got in this fight here, where he looked phenomenal in the first round for Asabi. For us. Aiemann Zahabi didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to get through Jose Aldo in that first round, right? But then, like we said on stream, on live stream, we were saying this is where Jose kind of fades, right? Second round, third round, and you could see in the second round how significantly less Jose was striking, right? And I think that's what brought Zahabi back into the fight. Still not enough, but it did bring him back into the fight. And then towards that last round, you could kind of see Jose was just done, dude. He was just looking after the clock, and he was just like, I don't know, I'm gonna try and survive. He even gave up the takedown, and yeah, that was when Zahabi did his most damaging work from at elbows and ultimately won in the fight. Um, just remind me, was Jose close to finishing the fight? Just to refresh, I'm not sure if he was.
Was Jose? Yeah, he soccer kicked him.
Yes,
Um, yeah, he
yes,
was very close to
he was really
finishing the
close to
fight
finishing the fight.
in
So
the
I don't know
second
why
round.
they gave it. I don't know why they gave it unanimous because I personally felt that Jose won round 2, and then round one round 1, like quite clearly, and
Yeah,
then was it round 2 where you almost got the finish, or was it round 3 where you almost got the finish?
I think I think it was round one where he almost got the finish, wasn't it?
It wasn't
Or was
round
it round
1.
two? It's
It was the
very yeah,
it was
it's a bit
round 2 or
hazy.
round 3. It's a bit hazy, but I think it was the second or third one. Let me just check. Yeah, knockdown in round 2. Yeah, so that's where he
Yeah,
landed it. Yeah.
yeah.
So he was also close to finishing the fight. Very, very close to finishing the fight. So if you go on that rhetoric, Aiemann Zahabi only really got one knockdown and close to finishing the fight at the end of the fight when Jose shot
Wasn't
for the
even a
takedown.
knockdown, bro.
It wasn't even knockdown. Yeah, he shot and missed the shot, and then
Yeah,
opened up the door for Zahabi to land elbows, which looked damaging. It was really close to finishing the fight as well.
yeah.
But I mean, that was that moment only, and the fight went all the
Mm,
way. So if we're really gonna put the entire fight under a microscope, you should be giving the fight to Jose. But anyway, I don't really give a shit. It's a retired fighter that came back. So I'm happy
mm,
that he retired. And Zahabi, good on you, my friend. I don't see Zahabi chasing any title. 37 years old. I see
yeah.
him getting wiped out from top 5 contenders. So yeah, let's just rather move on.
Yeah, not too much to mention there, but just again a very strange decision from Jose Aldo to shoot the takedown there. And
Mm.
probably that's probably a sign that he needed to retire because it might have been just he was tired or just
Yeah,
like
it
a lapse
was.
in concentration, which yeah we shouldn't be seeing at this level because I mean he was winning the fight on the feet. So
Mm,
again, just
mm.
very strange. But yeah, drop us a comment if you have any, ladies and gentlemen. Like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. We'll keep it moving back to the women's flyweight division, and here we saw Natalia Silva defeat Alexa Grasso by unanimous decision. The fight kind of played out the way that we thought it would.
Yeah,
Natalia Silva was just too slick, footwork was too good,
fast.
diversity of strikes, shot selection. She was fast, and as always, she looked graceful and beautiful, radiant, and all those lovely things. So yeah, baby girl on the night getting a Tanya. I know some people were a bit upset, thought that she was running a little bit. Shout out to Jedi Knight. But yeah, for me, she did exactly what she needed to do. Alexa Grasso, like we were saying, did hold the power advantage. And she played the matador very well. And at some points in the first two rounds, she was even the one pushing the pace on Alexa Grasso, which we were also
It
very
was.
surprised to see. So BG, were you impressed with Natalia Silva, or are you in the camp that she's got a long way to go in terms of being a more dominant fighter?
Um, no, I wasn't surprised at the performance, but I do agree with that statement you said at the end there. I do think that if she can add a little bit more finishes to her game, I think people will respect her a little bit more and find her a bit more dangerous. But at the moment, she's winning because she's not getting touched. She's winning
Mm,
fights because people can't catch her and they can't take her down, and you can't score against that. You have to score for that, right? You can't mark
yeah.
Natalia Silva down for not being hit or not being taken down. And she's the one that's always landing. So it's like she's winning fights based on that, right? She's just too elusive for her opponents.
Mm,
But I do have an asterisk on her name just purely because Alexa Grasso is super dangerous, right? But if I put Natalia Silva up against someone like Valentina, right? I don't know if Natalia Silva does that well against someone like Valentina, if I'm being honest. Someone that can strike equally as good as she can. Valentina's not gonna he's not gonna do what Grasso did and chase shadows. Valentina would,
mm,
would would set traps and have Natalia come at her, and you know what I mean. She would really set up things a little bit more dominantly. We put it that way. And when Alexa Grasso did land on Natalia, there was moments when Natalia didn't like it and she was moving back. And you pointed it
mm,
out first, where Natalia has a habit of leaving her chin up like this. You'll notice that when she moves back, side, 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 and then she plants her feet. And when she plants her feet, her head goes up and she throws a 1-2, kind of like a uppercut slash cross kind of maneuver, bang,
mm,
bang, bang, like that. And a more experienced fighter will catch her. Will catch her
yeah.
in moments like that, and that's why I'm like my asterisk is there. Because I've seen fighters that fight like Silva in the past in the men's division, and they look phenomenally until they come up against someone that isn't buying that side to side lateral footwork. You know what I mean? Think about
Mm,
think about uh, think about the shades of Dominic Cruz versus Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt just stood in the center and he was just like just points and you can dance all you want, but I'm just gonna move circle, 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 circle. And the moment you come into strike, bang, and then we go again. And eventually
mm,
the fighters like Natalia Silva will get caught in stuff like that. And then she's gonna be on the back foot now because she's down on the cards, because she's getting clipped.
mm,
Now you're forcing someone like Natalia Silva, who is a counter striker, to fight forward. Completely different game.
mm,
You know what I
mm,
mean? So I do want her to level up a knockout ability. Because right now she's relying a lot heavily on her ability to evade, stay away from opponents, which is why people like Jade will say, boring, boring, Ian Gaddy is
yeah.
run away, run away, run away. That's what you're gonna get. But if she had maybe
Mm,
dropped Alexa Grasso or maybe even stopped her, Jade wouldn't have said something like that. Then you eat your words
yeah.
now because she's now more deadly than what you actually think. So yeah, I want to see her go up against someone that puts her in shit situations, someone that puts her in deep waters. I don't
Mm,
mean
mm,
taking her down, I mean like piecing her up as well, which is
yeah.
tough to say, right? Because she's the best striker in the division. Let's get real. She's probably one of the best.
Definitely, definitely, yeah. But yeah, just to push back a little bit, I do think that she implemented a game plan that she needed to implement in this fight, and
Yes.
I imagine that if she comes up against a different opponent who's not maybe pushing the pace as much, she'd implement a different game plan. And I think, I mean, it remains to be seen. Of course, Valentina is the champ; she's dominant, and she's good everywhere. So it's difficult to bet against her at any point. But I do feel like Natalia Silva holds the speed advantage in that fight. I mean, she was so blitzed today, bruh. So I think
But she
that's
looked
one
tired in the
avenue.
third.
That's
She
also
got a bit
true,
slower
yeah.
in the
But she
third.
was
She
fighting
just not
going
feeling.
backwards. So
That's my
yeah,
point.
but yeah, I think she does. There definitely are still holes in her game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I said when she was walking out, she reminds me a lot of Izzy when he was
Mm,
kind of coming into the UFC in the middleweight
mm,
division, kind of really just so evasive, and the diversity of strikes is just so much to deal with. And like you said, the footwork was the most
yeah.
impressive thing because she's just so difficult to get it. And yeah, she was punishing Alexa Grasso when she came
Yes.
into that
Utter.
into distance. I mean, you look at her face after the fight, Brian, it tells a
Mm.
story. So for me, I don't really agree with that narrative about she's a boring fighter because
She's not.
look at Alexa Grasso's face, bro.
She's not a
Tells
boring fighter.
says all that we need to say. So I mean, everybody's gonna have an opinion, but yeah, that's
Mm.
just mine. And of course, ladies
She's
and
the
gentlemen, if you have any, let us know in the comments. Sorry, BG, go ahead.
no, 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 all good. Natalia Silva for me is a very good threat to the championship. Right? She's a very good threat. Because of the fact of hit and then not be hit situation, and like you make people chase you around, and that's difficult to fight against, bro. And I just think that it's just my personal opinion on Natalia Silva. Is the things that I wanted to fix is the chin situation. That when she throws the 1-2, try and get into guard as quick as possible. She
Yeah,
has a tendency to keep her head there and then move backwards like this. And I wanted to keep her
yeah,
hands there quicker, right? And number two, I don't see her throw elbows enough. So Alexa Grasso was there to be elbowed countless times, right? So I just want to see her because then maybe that could add to her ability to actually finish the fights. You know what I mean? Because
mm,
she's hitting everybody with a lot of pop, and a lot of speedy fighters don't put a lot of weight in their shots because they prioritize in speed, right? So it's a lot of
yeah,
flicking, it's a lot of fast movements, not a lot of heavy full body weight into your strikes. So she's not really knocking people out or dropping anybody. So I want to see her at some points in the fight lean into your shots a little bit more, like actually like make the person like drop them, like look for the knockout, because I don't
mm,
think anyone can tit for tat in terms of stand up and just punch for punch with Natalia Silva. You're gonna lose the fight. She's gonna outstrike you every day of the week, right?
mm.
But ever so now and then, throw a little bit more weight into your shot, just ever so now and then, make them
Yeah.
actually feel the power of your stuff. That's all I want to see her do a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I think those are very fair comments, PG. But again, I'm just very happy that baby girl got it done on the night. So fair play to her. We have discussed kind of the future of the women's flyweight. So if you are interested in that, just rewind the video a few minutes and you can hear our thoughts on that. But yeah, we'll keep moving to the lightweight division. Not too much to say here. BSD coming up against Carl Prepolec on short notice. I anticipated a first round finish, took a little bit longer than that, but yeah, BST getting back in the win column. What can you tell us here, BG?
I don't have much to say. I'm not
Yeah,
going to go into it. Just nice for this finish. Good arm triangle. Great choke. But that's all I'm going to say. I wanted to see him fight Joel Alvarez, not someone that was on it. That's who is this, bro? You might as well just make his picture black and with a question mark. You know what I mean? He's
yeah,
has been. He's been there, done that. Actually, done nothing. He's just been there, but done nothing. Now he's back.
yeah. Look,
And
it was short notice, so they needed a body. You know what I
I
mean? That's what
know
it feels like.
that's why I don't have any opinions about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know.
fair. And yeah, I mean, PSD, you can only beat the person in front of you, so well done to you on the night. So,
Mm.
but okay, bro, that rounds out the main card actually quite nicely. We'll go to the prelims. Is there any fights you'd like to talk about here?
Good job on Mike Malott to get the finish. I mean, he needed a win desperately. It looked like the man was close to retiring. He was facing some deep depression, so I think he desperately needed that job. And yeah, so good job on him of getting that finish. Jessica Andrade taking on Jasudavicius. We did say that Jasmine was going to win the fight. She's on the streak at the moment, and she's climbing the rankings. And I'm quite impressed with the stoppage as well because it is Jessica Andrade. You
Mm,
know what I mean? So let's just give her that props for stopping the fight. So well done for Jasmine. Looking forward to see her higher up in that women's flyweight ranking and not just Lemon in the middle of the table. Give her someone more higher ranked. And then, I mean, that was the only fights I really caught. I didn't. I unfortunately missed the Modestus Bukowskis fight. But I'm glad that I didn't miss it because it looked like that was a split decision. So I was expecting a knockout there. Whenever I see heavyweight or light heavyweight guys go to decision, I'm like, it must
Yeah,
have been a important fight.
must have been slow. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Navajo Sterling got the job done unanimously as well. That was the last person I spoke about. And then, big ups on them. I just saw the replay of Mark Andre Barrio. He knocked out Bruno Silva quite devastatingly, by the way. And then also Brad Katona also devastatingly getting knocked out on the night. Increasingly, the bad matchups for the Canadian guys. But Mark saving them on the card and Jasmine saving them on the card. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on that.
Give thanks, BG. And yeah, that will wrap up UFC 315 for us very nicely. Again, shout out to JDM and New on the day. So BG, as always, we go to some final thoughts and a post-fight rating for the card. Just the main card, of course.
Yeah, just the main card. I think the main card was quite fire. I thought all the fights were entertaining, even though I didn't really enjoy the Benoit Santini one, but that was for different reasons, not really because of how the fight had played out. So in total, if we just scored in that 5 fights, I'd give it a solid 8. I was thinking of making it a little bit higher, but I do believe you might share a different opinion here, but the Valentina Shevchenko fight is what makes me keep it as an 8. Um, I think if that fight had a little bit more blood in it, or a little bit more definitive, like knockdowns or someone getting rocked, I would have increased the number a little bit higher. But
Mm.
just for a clean finish that she had, for me keeping it as a 7. Keeping me as an 8.
Yeah, I'm actually going to call it as a 7. It was good fights, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the card. I just, of course, you want to see a bit more finishes.
Mm.
Thought there was a lot of tame fights, a lot of
Yes.
tame moments in the fight. So,
Yes.
yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh here, but yeah, I'd
I
like to
think you
see a
might
bit
be
more
right.
blood,
I
bit
think
more
you were
killer
more spot
instinct.
on.
But yeah, I'm very happy Natalia Silva got it done, and I'm very happy JDM is and new. Yeah, 7, maybe pushing a 7.5, but not quite
Yeah.
there. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts. Give us your post-fight rating for the card. Like and subscribe to
I
Fighting
watch your
with Friends.
podcast every
Watch the
fucking
podcast every day.
day. Joe Rogan.
For myself, Brother Gaia, Brother Jedi, Brother Babu, all of us here at Fighting with Friends, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning into the live stream. And we'll, of course, see you next week on Fighting with Friends.